hot today. Yesterday was a little bit cold. Today is a little bit hot. It refers to the condition today. But the climate is the weather of a specific region averaged over a long period of time, not less than 30 years. So the climate change, according to the UN, it's a long-term shift in temperatures and weather patterns. There is some causes for this climate change. There are some natural causes like volcanic eruption, ocean currents, social variations. All these effects and others more affect the weather. For example, the volcanic eruptions may leave the cooling effect on the environment, which may it sound not familiar or popular for people, is they thought that volcanic eruptions make the weather a little bit hot, but it's not. So there's other causes, the anthropogenic causes. When it comes to the anthropogenic causes, it's related to every activity related to the humans, which emit the greenhouse gases. The greenhouse gases are like carbon dioxide, which is very popular, but there are other gases which is more hazardous than the carbon dioxide. But the carbon dioxide is more available, and it's we can find it with large amounts in the environment. So the other greenhouse gases, the methane, the water vapor, nitrous oxide, SOx, all these gases have the greenhouse gas effect. Okay, so the main derivatives of this anthropogenic causes is the burning fossil fuels, deforestation and urbanization, and so on. Every activity, even the electricity we use, the transportation, everything we use that can emit the carbon dioxide, we say it's the anthropogenic causes. The natural causes are balanced, and we can't hear that there's a volcanic eruption every day. So we happen over a long period of time. But anthropogenic causes, we every day emit carbon dioxide through the development and factories, electricity, and all these things. But how we experience climate change? So the process is usually when the sun emits radiation to heat us, the earth absorbs some of it, and the other radiation should be emitted to the space. But what happens? This doesn't happen. So what happens is the greenhouse gases, carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases, absorbs the rest of this radiations and trap it. So later they re-emit these radiations to the space, which cause the warming effect. So we hear the global warming term, which is refers to the result of what greenhouse gases did. So these gases leave the greenhouse gas effect, or in another word, they call it the blanket effect. It warmed the earth more than the natural cases. So what happens later? The impact of this global warming. So the high amount of temperatures causes a high rate of evaporation. So the fresh water, when it comes to the fresh water bodies or groundwater, get evaporated from the water bodies and the soil. So we experience drought. This drought also affects on our on the crops we eat. So it affects also on the fundamental elements to be found in the food. Also the ice get melted because of the high amount of temperature. So when the ice melts, the sea level rise. So what happens is we experience flooding, especially the low-lying cities also get submerged. Also, the water quality get affected because of the salt water intrusion. Also, some species of animals and plants get affected. But when it comes to animals, as we see, this is cheetah. Cheetah is one of the animals which endangered because the prey cheetah eat because of the climate change. Some animals adapt with this, and some animals don't. So the animals who don't, they might dead or migrate. So the prey cheetah eat is not found. So they try to adapt. So he try to find new species to eat or new prey. So this affected its fertility or reproduction. So this affects on the the species. So this species became endangered, and this affects on the food chain. This affects us at the end. Also, some plants. We started here about some species of plants. We can't plant, or some species we can plant because of the weather conditions. Some plants can't adapt certain conditions, so other plants harmful plants can be found instead. So this affects also on our food, and this affects on the soil as well. So when it comes to the relationship between climate change and human rights, we can find that our fundamental right to have a healthy life we cannot find. So our right to have good water and sanitation, our right to have a good food with good quality, with the good elements and vitamins we need. Also, some diseases came to the surface because of some weather conditions. So our health get affected. Also, our human security. So when some countries get submerged or endangered, so we should adapt and find other places. So it might make us migrate or experience wars, conflicts, violence. So it affects our security. Also, our right to breathe a good air, clean air with high quality. So we experience diseases in like asthma or anything like this. Uh, it's related to the respiratory disease. Also, as Ahmed said, the Africa produces only 2 to 3. Africa produces only 2 to 3% of world's carbon dioxide emissions from energy and industrial resources. Africa is one of the most vulnerable continents to climate change because we already experience endemic poverty. We don't have the financial stability or the technology which support or help us to face this issue. Also, our ecosystem degradation, we experience ecosystem degradation, disasters like we saw in 2017, what happened to Cape Town, which is a very important country in Africa. They experienced zero water conditions because of the climate change, and they suffered a lot. Also, some complex governance and institutional dimensions. According to the IPCC, several countries in Africa already face semi-arid conditions that make agriculture challenges, which will increase by 90% by 2100. The population at risk of increased increased water stress in Africa is projected to be between 75 to 250 million people by 2020 and 2050. There are changes in Africa ecosystems, especially in southern Africa ecosystems, almost between 25 and 40 of mammal species in national parks, which will be endangered. And this is very important for Africa because tourists come all over the world to see these natural parks, and this affects also the tourism and affected our food chain. Human health will be further negatively impacted by climate change and climate variability. Most of African people experience severe diseases because of the climate change, like malaria. In 2020, like 157,000 of people experience malaria in Africa. However, what should be done right now? So we should be in harmony with the environment. To achieve this idea, we must balance social and economic and environmental aspects. So these three aspects, the social, economic, and environmental aspects, are the main pillars for sustainable development to achieve the SDGs. We should collaborate with other continents to face this to face or tackle this issue. There are some people still think that caring about the environment is a privilege or a luxury. No, because the clean and healthy functional environment is integral to the enjoyment of human rights. Thank you for your attention. Any questions?
Yes, great. Thank you. Thank you so much for your wonderful presentation. You managed to unpack complex environmental and scientific concepts to us. That's a very needed introduction if we are talking about the effect of climate change on human rights. And thank you for touching upon that.